Pete, good morning, Olamide.
Good morning, team. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
Very well, thank you.
I've got some good stories for you guys. It's a good Tuesday to talk about good stories.
Right.
Take it away.
Good morning, Nigeria. As always, TVC has got a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets, and we do our best on a daily basis to bring you trending stories from across the globe and indeed Nigeria in order to have some decent and hopefully interesting dialogue about these stories. In our first story today, more than 2 decades after the death of former Nigerian military ruler General Sani Abacha, his widow Maryam Abacha is now speaking out, and she's pushing back against the widespread perception that her late husband looted billions from the Nigerian treasury during his time in power. In a rare televised interview with TVC on Sunday, just days before the 27th anniversary of Abacha's death, the former First Lady described the financial allegations as a misunderstanding and insisted that no public funds were embezzled under her husband's watch. Take a look at this short video.
Who is the witness of the monies that were being stashed? Did you see the signature or the evidence of any monies stashed abroad? And the monies that my husband kept for Nigeria, in a few months, the monies vanished. People are not talking about that. Why are you blaming somebody for is that tribalism or religious program, or what is the problem with Nigerians? I pray for Nigerians. I pray for all of us. I pray that we should have goodness in our hearts. We should stop telling lies and blaming people. Why are we so bad towards each other? Because somebody is a northerner or a southerner, somebody is a Muslim or a Christian, or somebody is nice, or it's not fair. I think the press should try, the press should try to educate the people.
Now, General Abacha ruled Nigeria from 1993 until his sudden death on June 8, 1998. His regime has, of course, since become synonymous with corruption, with successive Nigerian governments confirming the recovery of large sums of money that we've now collectively dubbed the Abacha loot that was allegedly stashed in foreign accounts. Countries such as Switzerland, the United States, and the United Kingdom have returned hundreds of millions of dollars, which have been used in social intervention programs and national development efforts. She's urging Nigerians, as you saw in that video, to focus more on unity and collective responsibility rather than scapegoating our past leaders. And she said that every citizen has a role to play in building the country. Well, you guys had a lot to say, so I'm going to take 4 tweets on this. This is very interesting. Darling Bayo says she clearly understands what she's saying. Some people emptied the treasury all because the commander-in-chief had died suddenly. There was a monumental stealing during the interface of Abacha's death and the next military administration. Some have said it was the greatest corruption ever. Adna says, I know we all don't like Abacha based on what the media said and his actions, but economically, he was one of the best military leaders we've had. Newi 300 says he kept money for Nigeria in his house, private bank account. Where exactly? Or is she talking about funds that other countries are sending back to Nigeria? Funds that were hidden in private accounts abroad. Interesting. Isabella Louisa says, but jokes aside, Abacha did more good than bad as he's been portrayed as. If he looted that money, he will have never kept them where they will be found. Why stash them in banks abroad? I believe he did so to avoid politicians in future from squandering a lot, but here we are. Well, Isabella, at that point, there's a lot of sentiment that people are saying that Nigeria was facing financial global sanctions, and Abacha began to put the money away in order to protect us from these financial sanctions that were being placed in Nigeria. But there is no actual record of him in reinvesting or redistributing this wealth when those global sanctions did fizzle down. But here we are. In another development, the narrative of Nigerians being synonymous with cybercrime has long pervaded international media, a stereotype that is rooted in both fact and damaging generalization. Now, while it is true that some Nigerians have been involved in cyber fraud, a lot of recent findings are revealing a much more complex global picture. Reports have emerged of international fraud syndicates based in countries like India, the Philippines, and parts of Eastern Europe, deliberately masking their operations under Nigerian digital identities. Now, their strategy is to exploit the already tarnished perception of Nigerians to evade suspicion and accountability. Take a look at this video.
This is the live CCTV feed of a scam call center, and that's them panicking after I confronted them. Usually we get scammers from India, Pakistan.
Now, in the video, a group of Filipinos were caught in cybercrime, and what they said to the person that was on the line with them, they said, we're actually calling from Abuja, Nigeria, and this is a development that is forcing, of course, many of us to reevaluate the global scapegoating of Nigeria. We do have a growing population of hardworking, legitimate tech professionals, but that is often overshadowed by the actions of a few bad actors. Can you imagine? Scammers in India, the Philippines, Eastern Europe, all saying, I'm calling from Nigeria. That is a big dent on our digital identity. And my question now is, and what I think our focus should be on, is reclaiming our global digital identity. How can we do better? Just last week, we took the story of Sapphire Egemasi. A big fraud syndicate stole millions of dollars. Let's take a look at what you guys had to say about this. And Andy says, even America has more scammers than Nigeria. They just stigmatize us because we are Africans. That is why they pressure the Nigerian government to go after youth. We'll take another submission. Bossman says, our leaders and EFCC should be ashamed of themselves because they were the only country in the world that trades away their youths in the name of catching scammers, or Yahoo boys in quote. I don't support financial crimes, but you have to deal with it locally, not with foreign intimidation. Interesting. Now, team, very, very quickly, because we've got some more juicy stories on the way. But we have Maryam Abacha coming out to say that my husband never stole any money. He was protecting Nigeria. I did say earlier on that there were some global sanctions that were put in place, and some people were saying that Abacha was trying to protect us by reserving these funds. What do you make of this?
Well, for me, she's coming out with this a little late, but you wouldn't really blame her. She's heard, maybe she took the stand that, look, it doesn't concern me, I'm not going to say anything about it. But everybody, she keeps hearing Abacha loot, and all that kind of stuff. It must have infuriated her, and she came out. And, hey, she spoke emotionally, and that's why she used some of the words that, are not good for broadcast. You know, it's an emotional thing, and that's her stand. We're talking about her husband. It's a little bit complicated for me to explain.
Still talking on this matter of Maryam Abacha, I understand that this matter, she has held on to this narrative that has cast a shadow that has been hanging over her and her family for the past 27 years. I mean, she's had to deal with this matter, and so perhaps now she couldn't hold it any longer and needed to clear the air on the matter. But how much of clarity has she given to people regarding this matter is another conversation to be had. Unfortunately, it's a matter that will stay with that family for generations unborn, because this name, the Abacha loot, has been on for years, and a lot of persons even kept saying, oh, this man is still taking care of us from his grave. And this explanation, I wish you could mention names of people, point fingers at those who she said might have stolen Nigerians blind, and that Nigerians are just believing everything. What do we want to believe? If nobody is clearing the air and showing us evidence, would you blame us? It's not necessarily about ethnicizing matters or profiling people, whatever it is you want to look at it. But Nigerians are at the heart of this. What did your husband do while he was in office? How did it impact the lives of Nigerians? And what is the issue right now? How do we resolve all of them? What Nigerians are facing regarding matters of profiling is not a matter of today. It began many years ago, and some of the leaders, our past leaders, encouraged that, pushed that narrative, and that is why it's still living with us. The ghost of Nigerians' past is still very much present. How do we deal with it? I don't know.
But I also want to talk about cybercrime, because I've said it a lot of times, Olamide. I used to say Nigerians cannot do all the things that is being written out there that they're doing.
Well, not that organized.
Especially when it comes to cybercrime. No, honestly speaking, because the numbers you hear is just really alarming. So I'm even surprised, and I'm glad that you brought the story to see that there are even people in other countries claiming to be Nigerians, and they are leveraging on the image that Nigeria already has. I think that this is a very important story, and we really need to look into it, because we cannot say because people say Nigerians are bad, Nigerians do a lot of cybercrime, then people are now using it, you know, to make Nigerians look more bad. So that's something we need to look on. And quickly, I'll just touch on, you know, the Maryam Abacha story. You can see she spoke from a lot of, you know, emotions. Her husband is dead. A lot of allegations are coming out. He cannot come out and speak because he's dead. So that was the right thing for her to do. Absolutely. And you know that when you speak with emotions, oftentimes, you know, a lot of things come out that you're not supposed to say. But I totally get, you know, where she's coming from. Yeah,
indeed. I mean, I don't blame the, you know, the woman. She's a mother. She's a mother. And so having to deal with the weight of the dent of this, you know, magnitude on her name and that of her family, as a human, you know, she's probably at this point broken down. But on a very lighter mode, man, she is beautiful at her age.
Nelson, focus. Nelson, focus.
She really is. You know, and that's a beautiful thing to still see. I would only pray, you know, for strength and health as she remains the matriarch of her family and guide her family to do better than her husband did.
I love the emphasis on better.
Very solemn of you, Nelson. Thank you so much, team. Moving on in another development, former First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan has shared a deeply personal testimony, but this time it's not about politics, but perseverance. Speaking at Streams of Joy International Church in Abuja, she recounted the challenges and triumphs that she faced while pursuing her doctorate degree. Just weeks ago, Mrs. Jonathan was awarded a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Psychology, Guidance and Counseling from the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education. During this church service, she reflected on her academic journey, and she revealed that it wasn't easy, especially after her many years as First Lady. Take a look at Mama P's testimony.
My lecturer will get me angry and tell me, go and repeat this page. Say, this man don't know that I'm old. Very soon I will leave this scene and go and rest. Because what am I going to do with it?
She credited divine guidance and personal determination for helping her cross the finish line. And she used the moment to encourage others never to give up on their educational goals, no matter their age or background. And I have to say, we do love us Mama P. She is lively, she's energetic, and her time as First Lady was very interesting, I've got to say. She's a one woman. Let's take a look at social media. At Dr. Betta Chris says, a passionate First Lady she was. I noticed some improvement in her speech and charisma now. I do particularly enjoy that she did not allow the concept of age slow her down in pursuing her education. And Eddie Jasper says, over time, I liked this woman. A true embodiment of all the characters of Nigerian mamas. I agree. In entertainment news, top Nigerian fashion designer Vicky James celebrated her 30th birthday in grand style last night. And it wasn't just the guest list or the glam looks that stole the show. A now viral video from the event captured her jaw-dropping birthday cake, a towering 20-foot, 30-tier creation that is said to symbolize each year of Vicky's life. Now, the baker behind the masterpiece has revealed that it took 18 continuous hours of work to bring the monumental design to life. But what really sent social media into a frenzy, however, was the claim that the cake is the tallest in Africa and came with a jaw-dropping price of 18 million naira. You heard that right, an 18 million naira cake. Take a look at this video.
I've been here for the past 18 hours trying to pull this off for Vicky's 30th birthday. This is a 20 feet tall cake and 30 tiers.
Wow.
Yes.
So you said this is the tallest cake in Africa right now?
The tallest cake.
How are you sure that this is the tallest?
It is tallest because, can't you see?
So you mean obvious. No one has ever done a cake as tall as this?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how much does this cake, how much does it cost?
18 million.
18 million naira for this cake?
Yes. This is one of its kind, like never have you seen this before. Like this is a labor of love and sweat.
Now, Vicky is an entrepreneur who has always been very vocal about her humble beginnings. And I think if she works hard for her money, if she wants to do a 50 million naira cake, then so be it. Let's take a look at social media. Jane Bond says, 18 million naira for a birthday cake. Whew! That's not just cake, that's a skyscraper made of sugar. No hate for Vicky James, she's living her dream. But let's also dream of a Nigeria where 18 million naira cakes aren't shocking because everyone is doing well enough to afford joy too. Interesting. And the real Gulu says she should enjoy her cake. But this is not a labor, though. A labor of love would have been sharing the 18 million naira used for the cake to the less privileged and orphanages. Finally, a new video of Prophet Jeremiah Omoto Fufeyin, the founder of the Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry, CMDM, has stirred widespread debate on social media after he launched a line of nightwears aimed at boosting marital intimacy and fertility. In the now viral clip, the Delta State-based cleric told his congregation that women whose husbands struggle with low sperm counts should consider wearing special nightwears to bed, suggesting that doing so would transform their family's story. The nightwear, he claimed, was divinely inspired to enhance reproduction. Take a look at this.
We'll put on this thing at the night hours. Your husband that doctor said has a low sperm count. Let us see whether the low sperm count is still there. Il y a des problèmes, on va voir si ça va rester.
Alors, devrait en nom de Dieu présenter ce vêtement oint de nuit, particulièrement pour les femmes. Et ceci localisera également des hommes qui ont de faibles productions de sperme. Et le nom de Dieu a présenté cette pomme ointe. Également les autres articles spirituels que nous sommes tous conviés à pouvoir se procurer pour ce spécial programme Tu dois porter ton savoir.
Of course, the promotional nature of what you just saw has drawn mixed reactions online. Some people have said that they believe in the spiritual and symbolic power of things like this. But many other people across social media are criticizing it, and they're saying it's exploitative, it's inappropriate, and frankly, it's not backed by science. Where I have a problem with this is that he'll be medically taking advantage of people. You have people in the audience who are actually dealing with reproductive issues, with infertility issues, and this is your solution to them. I don't know about that. But before I hand over to my team, I'd like to ask you guys to please chime in on any of these conversations on social media with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC on any social media platform of your choice. I promise you that we are listening. Very interesting team. Ria, Veronica, are we going to be buying any of these anytime soon? Are we going to be just to speed things up a little?
Oh boy. No, that story is
boxers.
so we are out of it. Yeah, though that story is quite interesting.
Why is he not selling boxers?
You have to go and ask him.
Because what he's selling it for, I think the men need it better. But yeah, Mr. Toma, go on.
He said the men need it better. Oh, well, however, quite interesting story and so on. But people will have all sorts of things to say. But I would like to salute the courage of Dr. Patience Jonathan. I really see her as a beacon of encouragement to a lot of people. The woman suffered a lot of flack where she was first lady because of the things she says and all that and all that. Now she's a doctor. Those of you that are saying she speaks bad English and all that, go stand side by side her. Is 2 thumbs up to her, and I hope a lot of us have learned something from her.
All right, I want to say congratulations to you, Dr. Patience Jonathan. Of course, she's a beacon of hope to those who are looking forward to also reaching that milestone in the times of their lives. At this age, you were still able to push to achieve that, which is encouraging and good for every young lady. She made the office of the First Lady quite interesting, and a lot of people miss her. But for Vicky James, she has the money so she can spend it the way she chooses to spend it. So why are people making noise about it? And she also empowered the baker because she paid her for her services. So the baker has just gotten 18 million in her account. So her business has expanded. So kudos to you, Vicky James, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
all
baby
right,
girl.
I'll quickly start with Mama Patience. Unfortunately, I wasn't in Nigeria when she was First Lady, but I saw a lot of videos of her and I totally fell in love with her. So big congratulations to her. It shows that education has no age limit and no barriers. Congratulations to you, Mama. But also, let me wish my sister, Vicky James, a very, very happy birthday. Anything Vicky James does is right in my eyes. So I'm happy that she had a beautiful birthday. Happy birthday. Mwah, I love you.
You know, I wrote a book on communication, and one of the things I talked about in that book was that to be an effective communicator, it's not about accent or grammar, as it were. It's just let people understand what you're saying. And I think Mama Peace has, you know, is an embodiment of that. You understand what she's saying. She may not sound like you sound, but you know what she's talking about. And so effectively, she has communicated. And I'm also still looking for an opportunity to have a sit down with you, Mama Peace, now Dr. Patience Jonathan, you know, to speak to you about some of the things you did and life after office, maybe, and your husband as well. Vicky James, it's her money, please. She chooses to spend it the way she wants. Let her be. You to go make your money now.
Exactly.
And spend it the way you want to.
And as for this pastor, I have no words.
And you know, I don't say anything about the pastor because I just have nothing to say. Like, that is just too much for me. That's
what I want to say to the pastor is that whatever you do, you would stand before God and give account, whether it is true that this would work or not. So let God be your judge. This is where we'll draw the curtains on the program for today. Thank you, Olamide, for the stories.
You're welcome.
And let's let you know that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is your view with the ladies. Afterwards this morning with Yori Folari. You stay safe. Bye for now.